Ultimate Disc Golf Show.
That's right.
What you want to do is you draw a line straight to your mini. I guess you all know about the use of a mini in playing, right? Guys, you have the option. Let's say my drive landed here. Use a mini to mark your lie. It's optional, but if you want to use the same disc, you usually will mark your lie. Just put it directly in front of your disc and align to the basket. Pick up your disc. There's your foot places. You got 11 inches, right?
11 3/4 behind it.
That's
11
correct.
3/4. So
It's 30 centimeters.
30 centimeters. Good. Like I said, the man doesn't forget numbers.
Your foot has to break the line. It doesn't have to be halfway across the line. You can have the smallest tip piece of your foot breaking that center line. That's all you need.
Yeah.
A legal stance constitutes, actually you can pull this back a little. You can pull this back a little.
Right.
We'll call this 30 centimeters. That's 30 centimeters. As long as your foot is touching that stick, anyway, you can be here, you can be here. As long as you're barely crossing that line with a piece of your foot, you're legal.
And that's
If you're here, that's not legal. If you're here, that's not legal.
And that also goes for if you have to actually kneel or something. As long as that support point is behind the mini.
So one other thing I'd like to touch on with the mini is don't go all the way up to the mini. Don't get this close to the mini because more than likely you're gonna hit it. You move a little bit. So I like to give myself 4 or 5 inches behind the mini. Even if my foot does happen to go forward a little, I'm still behind it. And I might have moved that far forward, but I'm still behind my mini. So no one can question you about whether your foot faltered or not if you stay, 3 or 4 inches behind your mini.
A little bit advanced. Is that good with the mini? Pretty much? Okay. So let's go back to, say, this might be your normal putt, but if you get behind a tree, it's not going to work, obviously. So then this is where you start introducing the straddle putt. And a lot of people just have adopted this as their normal putt.
Very felt for one.
Yeah.
He uses it 100% of the time.
Use it pretty much all the time.
Draw a line to your mini, and then a 90-degree line outside. You can use your right foot for a straddle or your left foot. It doesn't really matter, just so long as you're not ahead of the 90-degree line. And basically, within 10 meters, you have to maintain your balance.
Yeah.
So when you putt, you can't fall forward after your shot.
32 feet, 10 inches.
So let's say from here, you make your putt, maintain your balance. Generally speaking, the best way to demonstrate that is after you putt, you maintain your balance. It's now outside of 30 feet, you can basically just go nuts. Kenny hits these big straddle putts or
Jump putts.
Jump putts. So, you're back here, you're putting, so you can just go, boom, you can leave.
As long as you receive still on the ground. There you see it. Not too close for a jump up. I'm going to demonstrate. You can see I'm going to jump forward, but I'm going to release with my feet still on the ground. Give you a little inertia. It's easier to hit the longer putt on the way outside. It's a little inertia.
What's your distance?
Is that?
What's your distance where you change from your...
Generally about 35 feet. I like to make sure I'm outside. I like that stepping off. I'm going to let the steps like this. Inside is it outside? I'll just putt normal rather than deal with the headache. If I know I'm outside that circle, I'm probably going to jump putt it.
Shots, unless you got something to add.
I want to add something on that straddle putt. If you're normally an inline putter that putts pretty high to their chest and flat, this straddle putt is going to be a bit different. You're now in the middle of your body rather than the side of your body. You don't have a whole lot of how to get it forward. There's not a lot of energy there, so I suggest taking your hand a lot lower and giving yourself a lot more swing. So therefore you're creating a lot more energy with your disc. Instead of from here to there's not a whole bunch, but from here to here, you're getting a lot more push. So it's really, really simple to drop it between your legs and just pull through, almost like you're pulling right up the pole.
Exactly.
Pulling it right up the pole. Start down here and pulling it up.
One thing you'll very rarely see with Ken is his putt being left or right too much. I mean, it's for Ken with his standard release, most of the time it's just a height issue, whether it's got the right height, because left and right very rarely comes into it because he does run right up the putt or run right up the pole. I don't do it that way very often.
Gregg has more of a across the top of the disc.
Yeah, I like to pop it straight forward.
But when you straddle putt, you do a little bit more of that.
Yeah, a little bit
dip.
more. Yeah, you
still snap it
I still
forward.
come low, but I still snap this way. Now, there's no wrong way to do it. If you can get it to work for you, that's fine. But certain things work better than others in certain situations. One of the reasons Ken's works so well in the wind is because he's not just snapping it. He's kind of lifting, as he called it, he's basically pitching weight.
To be pure hyzer, you would want to cut off early. Right? So I start out with a lot of hyzer because I still like it to have a little hyzer at the end. So I start out with a lot. By the time I'm releasing, I'm up to about 15 degrees. I start at about 75 degrees. I'm down here at 75, and I end up at about 15. Gives you a little bit of pull, gives you a little bit of power going that way. You don't want all your energy going this way. You want a lot of it going that way. And the reason I do hyzer is because it eliminates the right side of the basket. If my disc is tilted left, it's going to have a hard time flying to the right. So I'm basically eliminating any right side miss. Got my disc going left. I'll have some left side misses now and then, but most of the time it's an up and down miss, a high or a low. I do aim slightly to the right of the pole, especially when you step out a little more. Closer putts, you want to pretty much keep it right on the pole.
Here's something.
It's just have a hard time turning from this close. It's not going to turn a whole bunch from 20 feet. It's not going to have a chance to turn. So it's going to go basically pretty straight out to about 20 feet. I can put a lot of hyzer on it. It's still going pretty straight. It's not really turning. It's hyzer, but it's going that direction. And that's just from the motion you're putting into it. So that's the one reason I like to putt with hyzer. My hyzer angle eliminates the right side of the basket for me.
Now, if you're putting with a little more snap, the way I put it, something you need to take into consideration is the fact that on the right side of the basket, the disc is spinning clockwise, which means that the spin is going to pull it in. On the left side of the basket, it's spinning this way and you can possibly roll it out. So we have what we call the sweet spot, which is generally just a little bit inside the right of the pole.
The left edge of the disc, the right edge of the pole. That's the sweet spot for a right-handed spin.
It's almost like the pocket in bowling.
Right. And if you hit Brooklyn here, you might spit out.
You just sort of push off, using your back foot to push into your right foot. You kind of get up on your toes. For those of you ballerinas, that would be the arabesque, more or less. But one of the things that somebody showed me that works pretty well with that is when you uncurl, look at my hand. I'm sort of giving the basket a thumbs up, like I'm shaking the basket's hand. Basket, meet birdie.